I have an idea which I don't know if you agree with. The idea is that the happiness of men nowadays is much less than our ancients, or even less than those primitive men who used to live in caves in the late Old Stone Age, which means we are unhappier than men over 10,000 years ago. Definitely, a lot of people may disagree with my opinion, but let me tell you, this is a consensus reached by many historians. Where did I see the narration of this opinion first? I read a book called The Global History, written by Stavrianos over 20 years ago. It is a masterpiece on history. The writer wrote in the book that people nowadays feel unhappier than ancients, or even than those who used to live in caves in the late Old Stone Age. Why did I pay attention to his opinion so much? It is because I have been studying human issues, and his opinion is an important reference to me. After thinking carefully, I believe his opinion is reasonable. Why? In ancient times, there were fewer people in the world. A human community had only 10 to 20 or 30 people. There was no competitor for them in a large area, and it was easy for them to get food. They had little to ask for after acquiring food. Ancients are not like men nowadays. Now you want to buy a house after you have enough food. After living in an ordinary house for a period, you want to live in a tall building. Once it is realized, you want a bigger house. You will buy a house with an area of 80 square meters, thinking 50 square meters is not big enough. If others have houses with an area of 100 square meters, you would want to buy a house with an area of 150 square meters. If others have houses with an area of 150 square meters, you would want to buy a house with an area of 200 square meters. You would like to go to the concert and go to the cinema or travel if you have money. Ancients didn't have so many activities. It was easy for them to acquire food. After getting food, they would have a lot of time to rest and didn't have other things to do, since they thought life at that time was the best after comparing it with that of others. Happiness comes from comparison. Because they could see that animals were no better than themselves, they thought they were living a happy life. Since human community didn't communicate with other communities, people would share the prey and food. There was no exploitation or oppression. It was impossible that you got a lot while I got very little. People usually got things equally. So they lived a peaceful life. But how tired we are today. After you were born, you will receive education at 2 or 3 and go to junior middle school after graduating from primary school. After that, you will go to senior high school and then college. You may pursue a master's degree and then a doctor's degree. Finally, you have to update your knowledge continuously while working. The social pressure is huge and competition is fierce. This means that you can't relax yourself, so you will feel very tired and unhappy. I have been thinking, why human beings ask for so many things? Besides, a whole lot of social surveys show that we always feel the same as such historians. There is a country called Kingdom of Bhutan beside China. It is a relatively poor little country, but its citizens feel happy. The suicide rates in Japan and some rich and developed countries in North Europe are very high. People in those countries are rich, but they don't feel very happy. This justifies the opinion that people nowadays are unhappier than ancients, or even than primitive men who used to live in caves.